This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
How's it going, everybody? It's going to get Kenton in here, and we'll get this thing going. Hope everyone's doing well. Please share the space. Let's get some more people in here. You guys know the drill. Okay, guys, I sent some speaker invites. If anyone wants to come up and speak, please make the request right now. I sent one to Mocha and Slam Bammer. No, you guys do not have to accept those. I just wanted to give them to them just in case you want to come up. Because Slam Bammer recently did a space, you guys, on X. Did a great job. So shout out to Slam Bammer. I see Kenton now. Awesome. I'm going to get him up. All right, Kenton. Let's see. I accepted. Says you're still a listener to me.
Hey, buddy. How's it going?
Hey, man. Good to hear your voice, dude.
Yeah, thanks.
How was your vacation?
It's actually great. I'm still, like, my brain is still on it, to be honest. I have to get it back into thinking mode. Yeah, it was awesome, man. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you took a long vacation. You certainly needed it. You've been working your ass off, helping getting people bonded. You've done so many great things, man. So I really appreciate you. But again, I'm so glad to have you back because I feel like we vibe really well. So
yeah,
awesome, man.
yeah, I do enjoy doing these with you, and yeah, thanks for that. A lot of people have been doing a lot of work, right, the last few months, right? It's been pretty awesome, actually. And like I guess we jump right into it. Hey, should we do a little update on raising the bond?
Sure, go ahead, man.
I just looked at the THORChain.net, and looks like we're set to have, with all the nodes turned in, we'll be at 118 total in the next week. So I think that's an all-time high. I'm pretty sure 117 was our all-time high, and so if we get 118, that'll be a new high. And then once we get to 120, then that's really technically when bond wars will start, right? So we get to 120 nodes, and the next step will be each node having 1 million rune each, or more. But I think that'd be the first step, right? And we're not that far from it. I think if we have 118 nodes, I think we'll be at 100 and I don't know, 111, 112 rune, 12 million rune, I think, bonded. So we'll only need like 8 or 9 million more rune to come into the bonds to top everyone off, which I feel like we can do. I think at the pace we're going, I think we can do it.
100%. Yeah. And some guys may notice that, we did have a slight decrease in our bond size. I think we went from 115 to 111. But guys, this is, in my experience, this is kind of typical when we have a massive upgrade because for those who don't know, THORChain upgraded to 3.5.0. Lots of changes, a lot of upgrades to Bifrost. And big shout out to Andrew from Strangelove. That guy's absolutely brilliant, and he's been excellent in helping the node operators diagnose issues coming up. But yeah, guys, when this happens, you have a big upgrade. It's not too uncommon to have nodes churn out to upgrade, upgrade their system. There's been an increase in RAM, significant increase needed. Just as one example, due to the Bifrost attestation gossip, basically. But hey, That's okay. They'll churn back in. And Kenton's right. You know, we're going to be approaching all-time high. I've heard some people say that, oh, we've gotten to 120 nodes before, but I don't think we ever have. I
I
think
don't,
you're right.
I don't,
I
yeah, I
don't
don't think
ever
so
remember
either.
hitting 120. We got close, and I think maybe 117 is the right number, but I don't remember ever hitting 120. So if we hit 120, I am pretty sure that is all-time high, and we've never hit it before. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Well,
Um,
if we did hit it, it was briefly, right? It was only for like a week or something like that, right? It
yeah, that
wasn't like a long-term thing.
Slam Bammer, were you
And
going to say something?
yeah, and I was going to say we also are approaching the all-time highs of bonded ruin as well, right? So, um, you know, maybe in dollar terms we've been higher, but in ruin terms we're getting up there.
Absolutely, yeah. Which
And
like in this market, in this environment, and then on top of it, you know, the THORChain specific issues earlier this year, I think it's pretty awesome. I think we're
yeah,
doing great.
holy shit, we are. I mean, this has been an incredible rally. Incredible. Good job. I mean, their vibes are so good right now. We set a goal. We've been destroying this goal. We've been absolutely crushing it. Again, just shout out to you, Slam Bammer, doing that space. I love that, man. I want more people to do spaces. If we just get more individual teams, just keep putting out more content. And I had a request. I think it was from With the Coke, if I'm not mistaken. They're actually thinking of us doing a space specific to like general questions for node operators, and that might be a little on the technical side. I know you guys covered that on the last one, but you know, getting unique node operators, I think, should definitely be a priority.
For sure.
Yeah, I said I'm more than happy to run things to answer questions. Although I think there's definitely more experienced people that I would defer to that are on Discord. I think the main focus that I have with spaces at the moment is I want to reach people that aren't currently in the ecosystem, right? So when I run a space, when you run a space, I think we see some really great diehard people that are have been with THORChain for a while, which is great. But I want to try and target bringing new people into the ecosystem, and that's what I'm trying to angle my spaces towards.
Yeah, and Kenton, just so you know, I had a couple people, I think With the Coke and then Eric from the Mocha team. They actually suggested, I haven't mentioned this to you yet, but they suggested that we actually do live stream where we actually show our face and talk to each other. And I said, "Oh, I'm down with that." And I said, "Well, maybe Kenton probably because I know you're face docs. You know, we're both face docs, and so
Dude,
we could
I'm
qualify."
so doxxed. You guys, I may as well give you my birthday and social security number and everything. Yeah, I'm totally cool with that. That's fine. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think that would bring in more viewership if you just see humans, you know, the real humans talking. I think that's just a better all
yeah.
experience when it comes to chatting. So,
It,
yeah, I think. Go ahead.
sorry, yeah, sorry. Well, and it's like a bit easier because we can see facial expressions. Like just now, I'm kind of interrupting you. It's harder, right, to know when there's a break when I can interrupt somebody. So it's easier when we can see each other's faces. And I did one with Call from Leodex, and that was great to have like a video to video. It felt way more natural. So yeah, totally, definitely down for that. And he figured out how to do. I think somehow he streamed it to a space and YouTube and something else all at the same time or something like that. I don't know. We can ask him, but yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, go ahead. Is that you, Eric, on the Mocha thing?
Hey, yeah, it's me. I just wanted to jump in very quickly because the thing that Kenton said, it's incredibly on point. So when you're having a conversation with, let's say, 4 to 5, 6 people at the same time, visual prompts are so important to have the conversation flowing. And voice, usually you're just taking a pause, or maybe you're done speaking, whatever. But also, it's the fact that people like With the Coke and a couple of other community members that take clips from these spaces to promote THORChain, they can actually do it with visual prompts that will get more viewers. And we can actually tap into the TikTok, the Instagram Reels, and the YouTube Shorts with this. Right now, if you just do the spaces and, I don't know, a background image or whatever, and some closed captions, that's nice, but that doesn't hook the kind of audience that roams on TikTok and Reels and all of that. So 100% can be done. I have all the. It's not a lot of tech, but you just need OBS. You need a couple of other software stuff, and you can run live stream on YouTube, on X, on Abstract, and in a couple of other platforms at the same time. And all we would have to do is jump into a Zoom call or a Google Meet or whatever other alternative you guys have.
Okay, yeah, that's great. I agree with everything you said. I think that'd be awesome, and I think that feeds into what Kenton's aspirations of marketing, right? And everything we do right now, we're not getting paid for, but if we can, convert that into a marketing opportunity, that's only going to go to what he and Scorch are working on as well. So I think that's an excellent idea.
Totally. And to add to Slambammer, he's saying he wants to reach new people to the ecosystem. Patriot Sounds and you and I chatted about this a few weeks ago offline, kind of like our, what is our intention goal with these spaces, and we're talking like we want to help do what we can to help rebuild the community, like just get rebuild morale basically, because the last few months have been pretty tough, and we lost some major figureheads or people in THORChain. But we'll add new ones, and THORChain isn't over. It's not, we hit a rough patch, but we're going to get through this. So for anyone curious, why, kind of what is motivating me and Patriot here to be doing these every week is we're trying to do what we can to help just rebuild some camaraderie. So whether that's new people or existing people in THORChain, have for us to hang out basically. We get update each other, ask each other questions. We can talk about what we like, what's going on, what we don't like. Just provide that venue for everybody to get together. And so that's kind of, that's what's driving me and Patriot to do these.
Yes, and I think one thing that we've managed to do, not just me and Kenton, I think all of us, is that we've really solidified our base. I mean, the one thing that, I'm just a person, right? You hear my voice, you hear me speak, but if you didn't know me, and if I'm talking a big game, there's this, you don't know if I mean what I say. You don't know if I mean, say what I mean, right? But now we're all battle-hardened veterans. We've all went through something incredibly difficult, and so did Rujira, right? You guys have had issues as well. And we all got through it together. All of us have made mistakes. And the one thing, to me, the biggest bull case for us is our resiliency. It's our commitment to what we're trying to achieve, and it's our adaptability. Right. And so that's what gets me just so fired up to keep doing this, because I have never felt stronger about THORChain in sense of its raw principles and the changes that we've made. It just feels really, really good. And then adding Rujira on top of that, and just amazing individuals, super intelligent. I see, pragmatic monkeys in here. And I've met so many great people. It just feels like we might have lost a few people, and maybe we'll get them back. And I hope we do, but we've also gained many, many more. So, I feel great. But I don't want to rest on our laurels. I want to keep pushing this really hard. I don't want to assume that we're going to succeed and kick ass. I'm going to pretend that we are way down on the clock, if this is some sort of game, we're way down on the score. I just want to keep the energy up and just keep pushing, and get us over the finish line. So I'm very excited, guys. And shout out to everyone. You've all done very, very well.
Ditto.
Okay, so hey, man, I don't know, Kenton, if you want to fire this off. The title of this space, TCY on Cinco de Mayo. Are you ready? Eggplant rocket. Okay, so I'm so pumped up.
What does eggplant rocket stand for? What does that mean?
Well, an eggplant, I'm pretty sure, is just like an erect penis, and then the rocket is just typical, to the moon, baby. So I think that's what it recommends. So everyone's got a boner and everyone's really excited. That's what I think. That's what I think it means.
That's what I thought. I wanted to hear you say it out loud to embarrass you.
Oh, I have no shame, brother.
I was in Vegas yesterday. I went to see the Mad Apple Cirque du Soleil show with my aunt, and she's older, and quite innocent, and there's all kinds of blowjob and fellatio jokes during the show. Like sitting there with my aunt, and I'm like, oh my god, she's laughing, but I'm like, I think she's laughing a bit uncomfortable.
That's awesome. And
So
next time you're in
yeah.
Las Vegas, man, I live an hour and a half away. So
Oh
hit me
really?
up. Yeah, yeah,
Oh
I'm
yeah, for
really
sure.
close. So BTC Las Vegas, you're still going to that, right? I don't mean to detract from the TCY, but
I know. Well, yeah, for me neither. But honestly, I might have to bail. I got some personal things coming up, so
okay, no worries.
that's gonna be a last minute decision for me. But yeah, I was initially intending to go, but I might have to pull back on that. But definitely, you and I personally will meet up at some point for sure.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Cool. Okay,
Yeah,
on to TCY, brother. Go break it
yeah.
down, buddy.
Um, yeah. Well, I guess I think everyone is pretty bullish. I don't think there's any real from unless something's come up in the last 2 weeks. I've been really out of touch, but I think everyone's looking forward to it. I don't think there's any concerns. Everyone's ready. I was just thinking, oh, and if I'm wrong, if something's come up in the last 2 weeks that we should talk about, let me know. But one thing I was thinking about is just to give everyone just be careful if you really are excited about buying because the pool is gonna be very shallow. It's gonna start at 300,000. So like if you go try and buy 20 or 30 grand, like you're gonna move the price, right? 100 grand definitely. So and I don't know if you guys if how much you pay attention to Discord, but there was some guy in there like in the last week or two, he was I don't know what was he buying? He's buying like TGT or something like that. I don't know. But his slippage was crazy. He did like a $250,000 trade, and I think he only got like 60 grand or something. And he was freaking
Ouch.
out about it. And everyone's like, "Well, it's a shallow pool. Like, what are you doing?" And so it's just kind of like just caution everybody. Like, I'm not saying don't buy TCY, but trickle your trades in. Don't go in too big too quick because you could pay some crazy slippage, especially if everyone's doing it all at the same time. Um, so just be careful there. And I
It,
don't, yeah, go ahead.
well, yeah, because like the TCY allocation, right? Like I don't think arbitrageurs are going to have any, right? Like
No,
it's
there's not. Yeah, it's just the
yeah.
pool.
So
That is the only
right.
place. Yeah.
So that's going to be we have some really wild behavior in the beginning of the pool, guys. And
Yeah.
so I don't know. I just be careful, everybody. You know what I mean? Who knows? Because if arbs are going to have to buy TCY in order to arb it.
Well, but there is no arb, right? When
Right.
you're arbitraging when there's two different markets, right?
That's true.
And
That's true. Yes.
right, and then this is what streaming swaps have done is streaming swaps basically make it easy for arbs to balance the price between THORChain and other markets. And so that's why you can with a streaming swap on THORChain, like you can if a pool is only 5 million deep, you can do a $5 million streaming swap without moving the price. Well, it's because you're giving arbs the time to go to Coinbase and Binance and all these other markets to go source the token. But that doesn't exist with TCY. There isn't any other markets. There is only one market, and that is the THORChain pool. So there is no arbitrage. So there's no streaming swaps. So it's just following that XY K curve. So I know there's gonna be somebody, right? There's always somebody who isn't thinking, isn't paying attention, doesn't know any better, and is gonna get wrecked probably either on the buying or selling. Um, so just yeah, take it easy, go slow with your purchases. And if you don't understand how the pools work, maybe just give it a week for the price to settle, and then maybe you can be more confident that price will be more stable. Because I imagine it'll be pretty volatile in the first day or two.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to figure out what's going to happen. And you're right about the arbitrage things. That didn't even click in my mind. I'm like, oh, of course, duh. So yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out. So yeah, guys, just be careful and remember, like again, Alex has said this so many times. There is no rush to reclaim your TCY. I do not want people to get rugged. I do not want people's wallet to get exploited. I know many people, maybe some people are hard up for money or something, and they just want to liquidate a little TCY. I get it, but be okay. On the THORChain main profile on X, there's going to be reliable links. In the Telegram on THORChain, there's going to be reliable links. Okay, just go slow, take your time. Kenton is 100% correct on this. I just don't want to see anyone get wrecked. And there's going to be numerous scam attempts. There's going to be numerous impersonators. There'll be people impersonating me. They do it all the time. Just be smart. Use your brain. Think with your prefrontal cortex. Don't use your amygdala. Okay. Be rational. Be calm. Be careful. Go ahead, Slime Bammer.
Yeah, I was also going to say, especially right when it comes, so when you're transacting in TCY, that's one thing with the pools. When you're claiming TCY, right, that's going to be the critical point, because you have one transaction from, you know, whichever asset wallet that you deposited in Savers to associate it with your THORChain address. So be very, very, very careful when you're doing that transaction.
And I'll add too to those people claiming. I have a feeling. I feel pretty strongly that like the vast majority aren't in a rush to sell. You know, there's probably maybe 5 or 10% that are going to sell, but because they need to for personal reasons. And so they're the ones that probably have to be the most careful. Because gosh, I'd hate to see them. Like, let's say TCY gets up to let's just say it goes to $1, and they're all ecstatic. Oh my God, this is great! Then I'm back to even. And then they go dump, you know, a couple $100,000 worth of TCY, and they drive the price down to 20 cents. You know, like, and then they end up, wait a sec, I thought I was breaking even. Now I'm getting 20 cents on the dollar, right? And literally the whole point of TCY is to make people whole, right? So especially for any of the sellers, you know, just please be careful. They just do a few small trades and maybe slowly ramp up the size to make sure you're not moving the pool too much. So I'd hate to see you not get the price you see quoted and you know the amount you think you're going to get. So yeah.
Yeah, that's well said. And someone asked me about specifics for TCY. I put in the comments, you guys. I put I think it's the latest. It's from Alex himself, and then he breaks it all down in that X post. So if you're curious, you can go check that out. But yeah, just be careful, guys. I'm probably not even going to touch the asset for a while. I definitely want some, but if I make a swap in the early days, it's not going to be for a lot of money. Okay. Because I have Kenton's fears. It's, everyone's excited. And I think there's going to be a lot of people who are eager to just swap and get some in the beginning. And the behavior of the pool is going to be very interesting. So
It will be. Yeah. Cause I think I just can't see how it's going to be 10 cents or 5 cents, like unless there's some basically idiots just dumping for really no reason. I'm assuming we're going to see more spikes to the upside, because like TCY is pretty attractive at 5 or 10 cents, even 20 cents, right? So it'll be interesting to see if it actually trades that low or stays that low. So I imagine it'll be enough of us trying to gobble that up. So, hopefully we get a good floor in the price here within the first week.
Yeah. Like I said, guys, I mean, I'm really excited to get it too. And to your point, Kenton, the only people who can make the price go down, as far as I know, are people who reclaim their TCY who were affected by Savers and THORFi default, right? So if the price goes down, then that would be that behavior, which in my opinion would be a little weird. But hey, I think counterintuitive things happen all the time in markets. So, but yeah, people who want TCY who have not been affected, it's just pure buy pressure. So
yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
We'll
see how it goes.
That'd be pretty amazing. Like, what if nobody has to sell right away, and there is no sellers? And it's just buyers. Like,
right,
the price would it would go straight up. It would literally go straight up until the market decides that, whatever its fair value is. Honestly, that'd actually be the best case scenario. Then if everybody claiming TCY can just be patient and hold and see where it settles out, and then then start trickling in your sales. But there's like there's always somebody who just has to sell for whatever reason, right? Like life circumstances, right? Like paying for an operation, I don't know, alimony in a divorce, or they're getting some kind of debt they got to cover, whatever, right? Got to refinance their house or something, right? There's always some reason. There's always somebody that needs to just dump, which everybody always will interpret as manipulation, but it's usually just somebody in a pinch. So hopefully that doesn't happen to anybody. Hopefully no one's forced to sell like that, and they can be patient. But don't be surprised if it does happen.
Yeah, I think that's well said, guys. I really don't know how else we can describe it any other way. When you just think about, when it goes live, there's a time established. Again, check out the comments. There's going to be a lot of people awake and eager, and so you have to use your best judgment. This is a meritocracy at the end of the day, and there's no hand holding, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, I would say too. We have a new speaker with the Coke. What's going on, man?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
Good. Thanks for having me. So yeah, I will maybe look back to the previous discussions, not the TCY. For me, it's clear, guys. Just check your contract address. Don't crash. It's simple as that. And day one, most likely some smarter guys besides us already have some bots that will grab some TCY. So most likely you're buying it up anyway. So let it roll out. Take it easy. Yeah, but I wanted to comment on the nodes. We have had 120 nodes twice, actually, 2024 end of the year, and also in 2025 once. And when it comes to sharing the spaces and having those video ones like the LeoDex guy does, I think it's a great idea to use StreamYard software. So this enables you to multi-stream many places. Also post production, like I do, I record the streams. It enables me to make those clips and also promote the THORChain. So StreamYard is the tool that you need, guys, Kenton and Patriot. And yeah, I think it's a great idea to show the face. It gives some kind of like you see person behind there. Otherwise, it's like I mean, let's see, like pragmatic monkey, nice thumbnail picture there, and Thor Max again. But it kind of gives like this, like there is people behind this protocol that we are fighting as well. And also, let's not stop this. Let's raise the bond, guys. Hashtag raise the bond, raise the bond, raise the bond. We are so close for 120. We had a lot of nodes churning out this turn, but I actually took a look. It was just simple rebalancing. They almost hit 1 million rune, so now they trimmed down to 900k. So that's they're just going to turn back in. No biggie there. They didn't leave, they didn't sell, so all good that wise.
Yeah, I'm kind of freaking out on your claim that we reached 120. I'm thinking I have like massive mental illness because I don't remember this at all, and I would think that would be such a thing to remember. Double check your data, but I could be entirely wrong. But both Kenton and I don't think we reached 120.
Oh, I'm 100% right, because I actually made post on my X account. Again,
Really?
I will comment below. I will comment below because on
Man.
Discord, the dev Discord. I mean, actually, we have made 120 nodes where we had to vote for something. So maybe there was even a churn where we didn't vote for anything and we had 120 nodes. But yeah, first of all, I checked from Discord, from the Discord, that we have voted for with 120 nodes. So it's 120 nodes / something we're voting. That's why I know. And I remember specifically, Rune was like $6. I told my friend, bro, the node wars is going on. Buy Rune. So yeah, he kind of had a write down with me as well. So, but hey, he's still in. He will going to have 1k rune soon, so he will be a bond provider as well. So that's why he's a, let's say, smart investor. It's only small amount that he put in, so he doesn't care at all. So that's at least he's not my friend who's turning against me. So that's good.
Yeah, dude, if you're right, I'm wildly embarrassed right now. I mean, what a loser moment from me. Kenton was trying to embarrass
Yeah,
me with the eggplant penis thing, but dude, I'm like, how did I even miss? I don't even know how my brain, like, I don't, maybe I'm just so traumatized. I can't even, I just pushed everything away. I don't
yeah.
know.
I will mute my mic and I will send you in next 5 minutes
All good.
the post so you
Oh,
can
no
share
worries,
it.
bro.
So
Thanks,
was
man.
it 100,
It's not that.
120 active nodes or 120 like total nodes?
No,
Active.
active
Oh,
nodes
okay.
who voted for I think it was the base chain was one vote that they took apart and something else. So yeah, I
Okay.
will comment just right below and I will let you know. Give me
Yeah.
a sec.
Yeah. Thanks.
No worries. Appreciate that. And guys, this is an open floor up here. If anyone wants to give an update, and no pressure, I don't want anyone to have the expectation, like Pragmatic Monkey or anyone else, to come up here. But if anyone's from the Rujira ecosystem, well, we all are, but you see what I'm saying? Like, if you want to have, it's hard for me to keep up and everything. If anyone's got any updates, I know people have been updating their tokens a lot. Or if anyone wants any updates, please feel free. Mocha, do you have
Or to correct us.
Go ahead.
We make another mistake, please.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm a solid B student. I'm a solid 75%, 80% guy. So I don't get everything right. So yeah, feel free to correct us.
We have a new speaker, a Pragmatic Monkey. ¿Cómo se va, mon ami? Are you there? Pragmatic Monkey, can you hear me?
Hey guys, yeah, sorry, I was on mute.
Très
I was
bien.
complimenting your French, and you missed it.
Bummer. Yeah, I used to say I had a language exchange partner back in the day, but in Arizona, there's not a lot of French people, so it's unfortunate. But maybe one
Your
day.
name kind almost sound like French. Like I thought you were sometime between that and you forwarding stuff in the French forum. But now
Well,
I hear you speaking. I know you are not. Your English is way too good. No, yeah.
yeah.
So maybe just a quick update on the Kujira front. Like the key stuff at the moment is very much the merge. So it has been live now for almost a month, a full month. So the decay will start in a day and 4 hours. So from this moment onward, people that are in the merge contract will start to earn rewards, bonuses in Ruji. And those bonuses will come from people who haven't merged yet or who will never merge because they are not paying attention or they are lost their keys or whatever may have happened to their token or themselves. Maybe they are dead and they cannot merge. So that's an important stuff. So if you have still some Kuji, RQG, Fusion, NSTK, Wink or LVN token, it's last day today in one more day tomorrow, and then DK will start. So merge if you haven't done so. And we are like quite well on the way. Kuji is now like at 62% of the supply merged. So very good, very good stats. But it also means that there is a good part still not merged. So the bonus, the APR on staying in the merge contract should be quite nice. So everything working as expected. So in other news, we were hoping to launch our first products, actually, the Ruji Perp, so the order book decks, and the first version of Ruji Pool, the IMM that had liquidity on top of the order book, with version 3.5. But we spot out a few issues in the code, so we had to delay to TC 3.6. So it's coming up fairly soon after that. And this will have all the upgrades we need to have the first liquidity pools on the order book. We won't have yet the big strategies, the market making strategies that will allow us to virtualize the liquidity from the base layer pool. So initially, the offering will be fairly limited, just the three Rujira ecosystem tokens that are merging. So that would be Liquidity, the former Manta DAO, Nami, and Auto. And of course Ruji, and we will have also the capability to have a TCY pool because it's a native token. So that's an important point because you were mentioning earlier the shallow liquidity on the pool, and that's actually by design to allow it to move to have a very efficient price discovery mechanism and let the market do its job. But shortly after the launch of TCY, we should be able to make a pool dedicated, like an order book pool for TCY. What we will do, most likely, we have been discussing with Alex. So two things here. First of all, a big shout out to the Rujira team. They are one of the team building in our ecosystem, formerly on Kujira, now migrating. They are building all sorts of automation solutions, automated strategy, and they are also building Ruji AI, the ChatGPT-like interface that will allow you to do all sorts of things and eventually spin out autonomous agent and this kind of stuff directly on the app layer. But they also did the auto-compounding TCY contract, which is live and should go live at the same moment as TCY tomorrow on or the day, sorry, after tomorrow on the CINCO di Mayo. So you will have the ability to deposit your TCY there, and the rune reward every day will be automatically compounded into more TCY, and you can have these liquid stack tokens that you can eventually use in other places in DeFi. For example, if you want to not sell your TCY, we will be able to create a market. So depending on liquidity, of course, because shadow liquidity means not much capacity to have a market safely. But if we grow the liquidity over time, then you can have a market where you could, for example, borrow against your STCY. But no worries, no mechanism like THORChain. We will do things in a very measured way. But we will be able to do all sorts of things as well with that. Like then they can build strategy where you can transform the cash flow. So maybe you want to stack your TCY, but then use it to do to buy Bitcoin or do something else instead of Rune. Like you will be able to do all sorts of cool things. And we will create a market. So Alex wanted to keep just a TCY Rune market on the base layer, and he did not wanted us to create a TCY USDC pool on the order book just to keep this shallow pool by design. But what we agree is we will create a market for STCY, so the stacked auto-compounding version of TCY. And so for people, and we create a pair with USDC. So it means like for people who are afraid of price impacts, well, you can simply put a limit order in the order book, and you will know exactly at which price point you will sell, and your order will never be filled unless it's at the price you are targeting. And same thing to buy, you can put a limit order at the price at which you want to buy, and you will never buy for more than this price. So that's going to be a very useful feature for people who want to trade it a bit more actively. And it's also a very nice feature, particularly for the people who were affected by the THORChain blow up and who want to sell at, say, $1, because then you can just put your auto-compounding TCY at an order to sell at, say, $1 in the order book and forgot about it for a year. And because the STCY is auto-compounding, the value mechanically of your STCY over time will get higher and higher. It's an auto-compounding token, so it has redemption rates that only grow over time as more reward are added. So initially on day one TCY equal 1 STCY, but then every day after that, one STCY will be worth more than 1 TCY. So that means that you can put your limit order and your order will be reached faster than if you are just selling simple STCY, because you will also capitalizing on the compounding interest. So that's pretty much all the things I wanted to update you on. And maybe another important thing, so you will be able to deposit in the auto-compounding contract, I think pretty much at launch, when TCY launch on the 5. But initially, there won't be the auto-compounding feature because we won't have the base layer pool, the app layer pool allowing to swap the rune rewards for more TCY. So it will take, we will have to wait till we have we are working on different strategy, but worst case, till we have the virtualization strategy to replicate the liquidity from the base layer pool, or maybe we will come up with some arbitrary strategy and have somebody doing that for us in the interim. So yeah, that's it for me, guys. Unless you have any question or anything you want to explore a bit.
That's awesome.
Was my little Rujira update.
That was great. Thank you. I do have a question. You mentioned the auto compounding feature, that sounds great. Do you think could you guys do something similar, like an auto bonding feature, where somebody who has TCY can have their rune be automatically added to their bond position? And
So
I've actually talked to a very large TCY holder who wants to do that, like a 7-figure one, and so I
so
imagine there's others who do as well.
So you mean the flow of funds here will be, you start with TCY, you stack your TCY, and then the rune reward automatically added into a bond.
Yes,
That's correct.
correct.
Okay, so I know it's a very sensitive topic. Some people, for some reason, are very allergic at the idea of a LST. But if we could do a rune LST, then it would be super straightforward to do that. Doing it with the current mechanism, I mean, I think it's possible. It just it will take a bit more.
No, what I'm talking about is somebody who is an existing bond provider. They've already have the relationship with their node operator. They already have their address whitelisted, and they just want to add. Once you're already in a node, once your address is already whitelisted, you can deposit rune. You can just add rune whenever you want, right?
Yeah,
So I don't think that's the same as an
okay.
LST. I think that's still respecting the current
Okay, so
setup.
it will be a permission, like
Yeah.
only for people who are already whitelisted under that.
It-
Okay, no, yeah,
exactly.
it's probably possible. So that's actually exactly what the Auto Rujira team is gonna do. That's a very good idea as a different product for them to do, and they're already quite familiar with the process, given they built the STCY Auto Compounder. So you know what? I'll making a little note, and I will suggest that to them.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Shortly.
It's easy for me as a non-dev. It's easy for me to say this, but in my mind, it should be easy to do. If I understand how AppLayer works, so I don't see why anyone would push back on it.
If it's really just sending a rune to an address where you are whitelisted, it should be fairly straightforward.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll suggest that, and that's exactly the type of things they are good to do with. So I'll speak with Alejandro, who is leading the team. He's one of the founder of one of the co-founder of Auto Rujira. I'll mention that to him. Very good points. Nice,
Yeah.
Kenton. I think that's make a ton of sense.
Thanks.
Yeah, I agree. I think when people they talk about the 10% loss in revenue, however you want to describe that. But if it's already being redirected back into the bond, I think that's great. I think that alleviates a lot of people's concerns, even though I don't really think it's that much of a concern to be honest. I think that's a really cool idea, Kenton. Nice job.
Well, it's not my idea, to be honest. It was this large TCY holder. He reached out to me, asked me about it, telling me that's what he wants to do. I'm like, dang, that's actually a really good idea. So I won't dox him, but I can't take credit for his idea.
Well, thank you for at least asking the question.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Hey, Pragmatic Monkey. Okay, so with 3.50, is there anything? I know it was changes to Bifrost. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank right now. I know 3.6 is going to be big for Rujira, but what would you say in relation to 3.50 and Rujira? What good stuff happened there?
So what good stuff happened in 3.5? Let me go a bit through the list. The Bifrost refactor first, I think that's big for everyone because it opens the gate to lower the block time to 2 seconds, and that necessarily means more volume or arbitrage volume, not just for the base layer, but also for the app layer. So everybody benefits from that. Then in our case specifically, we had quite a few elements included in there. So we had try to. I don't find the full list, but I take you at the top of my mind. So we added there the stacking contract and the merge contract, of course. We had a first version of pool and trade, but we could not launch them. We had the functionality to mint the token as well. So it was a bunch of key stuff. And okay, so it's because like at the end it did not make much sense because we had to redeploy a few versions of those contracts again in 3.6. But yeah, I rather speak about what's coming in 3.6, I think, because then they will
Yeah,
make
go
more
ahead.
sense.
Sure, go ahead.
So so 3.6 this time we will be fixing those issues. So we will have the ability to have the Rujira pool and the Rujira trades apps. So the order book and first the IMM with the first strategy, which will be a simple XYK. And we will also have the stacking contract and the revenue converter contract, allowing people to allowing to start collecting fees from those applications and allowing people to stack if they get out of the merge contract or if they get their tokens directly from the secondary market or investor who participate in the sales and stack it and start to earn rewards. So those are fairly fundamental elements of the overall ecosystem, and that will be all live in hopefully 2-3 weeks. That's usually the cadence of upgrade. So we just at 3.5. So the 3.6 should be fairly like we are targeting with the support of the 900 team to get it out as soon as possible. So hopefully 2-3 weeks max we will be live with all that.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. And guys, I don't know. I'm so bullish on Rujira. I mean, you know, I've talked about it. For those who don't know, it is basically going to give sex-like capability to your individual wallet. And wow, absolutely big deal. All the different primitives that you can use, you know, perps and oh yeah. I am so excited, man. I'm so excited to see this thing go.
Thanks, man. It's gonna be great. And I mean, it's also like it's gonna come in sequence. Like we are not gonna release every single at once. We have a lot of things we want to do to further improve. So of course products as well, like they will be releasing in steps, but also the market making strategy is gonna only get better as we release more. And then there are also some other quality of life features that will be quite a game changer for the UX and allowing us to really compete with centralized exchange. So for example, one thing is on-off ramping. Like we are actively working with a partner to try to get direct on-off ramp from your wallet to your any bank account and from your bank account or your credit card or whatever directly to your wallet. So that would be quite cool. So it means you don't need anymore if you want to on-off ramp to first send to a centralized exchange and then do your things there and then send to your bank account. You remove completely the need for a centralized intermediary beside your bank. And we are also so that's something kind of new we did not have on our radar up to fairly recently. But there is this capability to have those one-click transactions. And I think that would be also a very, very nice UX improvement. So right now, you know, every time you do something, you have to you do a transaction and you click and then you need to sign the transaction. That's how it works on blockchains. And it's important for security. But sometimes, like if you're on a centralized exchange, you just log in once and then you can click and in one click buy, sell, or do whatever you want to do. And actually, we can now like come up with a technology that would allow us to. You can define, like, let's say I'm happy to spend up to $1,000 for the next 7 days. And for those $1,000 for the next 7 days for this contract or this specific set of contracts, let's say the order book, I'm happy to effectively give permission to spend that in just one click. And then user can just come and click, and it's exactly like on the centralized exchange. So that would be also, I think, a big game changer in terms of UX. And then if you combine the on-off ramp, the one-click transaction with all of those apps, it's gonna be very cool.
Pragmatic, can I see? Do you have a question about that, Patriot? I want to change the subject a little bit.
That was Slam Bammer.
Or Slam Bammer, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say I'm very interested to see how that will work because I'm curious to see how any sort of banks take those kind of transactions that come through to them. I think it's great for the space, but I think we must be ready for some interesting experiences of what banks will pull.
No, so the way it works for the honor of ramping, we are looking to work with Banksa, which that's one of the biggest providers doing this type of services, and so they handle everything for you. Of course, it means you have to KYC above a certain amount. However, depending on your jurisdiction, you don't even have to KYC below a certain amount, and then your bank don't directly receive something from your wallet. There is this intermediate layer, which is like a Banksa, which does the transaction to the bank. And so it's not, that's the beauty of it. It's not even like, of course, the initial process is a bit heavy, like we have to do KYB and this type of stuff. But then it's not on us, like the KYC are not on us, and the dealing with the bank's part is not of us. It's from these big entities that is specialized in doing this service. So honestly, once we pass the KYB, I don't foresee much issue with using that every day.
Do you have any concerns like Changely? Changely and Ledger, they'll freeze, $1 million trades to ask for all kinds of KYC, and then they don't accept it, they don't approve it, and it's people's money is locked in limbo for months. Has that with Banksa? You said they're the biggest. So that means other front ends are using them too. Have they ever done anything like that?
Yeah, no, I don't think, like, I haven't heard anything bad about them. And I don't even know if, like, I don't know actually. I haven't tried the full process yet. So we'll see. But it's possible. Like, I think you have to KYC first, and then you send your funds, and they transfer. Yeah, maybe there's a scenario where that could be happen, but I haven't heard anything bad. They work with MetaMask, with a lot of centralized exchanges, with like they are like very big and established, and I don't think and there are any like it's not like a second tier bit dodgy players that take your funds into a stage. But you have very strict rules in terms of depending on which geography you are, in which geography you are, you have to KYC above a certain amount, and for sure, if you pass above this amount, you won't be able to do the transfer without the KYC. So that's something there is no way to go around. Like to be compliant, you will have to KYC. Otherwise,
So it's like Kraken, where I think they have like 3 different levels of KYC, and each level you're willing to go through gives you higher limits on your deposit and withdraw. And is that right? Am I understanding you right?
Yeah, it's pretty much. I think it's more binary here because Kraken has several tiers. I think it is really like up below. I think like something like $1,000 per day. You don't have to KYC. Above that, you have to KYC. But maybe actually there's different tiers as well, depending on the amount you want to do. But I think from the moment you KYC, it doesn't really matter which level you are. Like it's a bit of either you are KYC or you are not. But if you are, it's once you have given already your ID and date of birth and all those things, adding your bank statements and your I don't know what else they can be asking, but it doesn't. It doesn't dox you more than you are already doxed.
That's great because I feel like, in my opinion, and I'm assuming a lot of THORChads share this vision, is that this is the future of exchanges, future of crypto exchanges is front ends tying into a DEX like THORChain, and then also using some third party provider for the fiat on and off ramps, and basically have all these. We're going to have hundreds, if not thousands, of different little Binances running around, but they're all in the back end is THORChain and banks like just like Banksa to get the on and off ramp. Do you see something? Do you envision the future of crypto similar to that, or do you see it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no. I think that's where we are heading, and that's, by the way, like with THORChain, so Coinbase of course as base, but also now like Kraken as a ink, like a lot of those big centralized exchanges are moving on chain as well, and I think it's they are all gonna add, if they don't have that yet, those on-off ramp capabilities, and eventually I think they will be moving most of their activities and users on their on-chain rails, while probably keeping their own front ends. And once they are on-chain, it means that they will be tapping into all the on-chain liquidity. And the only place where you can get proper native cross-chain liquidity is THORChain. So I think necessarily, for example, Coinbase, Base is now that it's connected to THORChain. From the moment there is volume there, it creates an arbitrage opportunity with whatever other token that is in the pool, in the base layer pools, and it creates additional volume. So that's already happening, and I think it will only happen at bigger scales as we keep growing this industry. So yeah, super. Super pumped by that, and I think totally aligned with the vision you have. That's where we are going.
And if anyone's listening to that and you think we're just jerking each other off because it's what we want to happen, if you like peel back the layers on the onion a bit, like the reason everybody wants to go on chain there's two reasons. One is that they don't have to, like Coinbase basically has to create all their own infrastructure to do all the trades and everything. If it's all on chain, they don't have to recreate that. It just stays on chain. Like the blockchain does it for you, right? So they save on those costs and those trying to duplicate any of that. And then also the regulatory point of view. If everybody is doing self-custody, you eliminate so much red tape and regulations. Like all the regulatory burden and red tape is around custodying assets for other people. If a front end, if you're not custodying the crypto for your users, you eliminate so much headache, which means it's so much cheaper for you and easier for you to launch and stay in business. So that's why the industry is moving that direction.
Absolutely, and for me, like this is why I think eventually blockchain will move beyond blockchain, because what this technology allows you to do is to reduce your operating costs by a factor of 100x. Like I just putting a random number, but it's like you can really lower. Like if you replace most of your business logic by smart contracts, and you replace most of all of your legals obligation because you custody funds or you act as an intermediary in some shape or form by smart contract again, then suddenly you and all of that, you don't even have to host the smart contracts yourself. They are hosted on a blockchain that makes sure that it's running 24/7, never interrupted, any place in the world, and all you have to do is maintain the front end. You reduce your operating cost by so much that it makes a ton of sense for your margin to do that. So I think that's the future, and it starts with crypto and centralized exchanges because they are very close to us, and eventually the view is that it will expand to other industries as well.
Totally.
Yeah, I think you guys are nailing it here, and so I'm just letting you go because you're saying all the right things. And I think most people have that vision now. And the thing that gets me so excited is that the community, the whole community, everyone is homogenizing around this vision, because before we've done a lot of experimentation and some people don't like that fact. But I think honestly, it's just part of the process of you have all these different competing ideas and theories. And when you have a 0 to 1, like Rujira and THORChain and MAYO protocol and Mocha and all this stuff, this new technology has never existed before in the history of our species, which is just wild to think about. Now everyone is homogenized around this viewpoint. Now everyone has the vision. We know what we got to do, and we're doing so well. I try to think of ways how we can mess this up, and I think maybe the central way that comes on my mind, at least right now, just spitballing, is if we were to surrender permissionlessness. I think that's how we would mess this all up. But I don't see that happening. I think people are getting this. I think people understand what we need to do, and now it's just time to execute. And I'm really happy you guys are just crushing over there. And if there was anything I would say to any developer, especially on the Rujira side, is you guys are working so hard. I'm so thankful and appreciative of what you guys are doing, but just double, triple, quadruple down. Just attack this and bring it home, because I am so excited and happy to see what's going on. But yeah, let's land this plane. Let's make this happen.
We are on it. We don't give up. We keep pushing, and we are gonna make the plane lands and land nicely. That's really what has been driving us ever since last summer, and it's getting close.
Absolutely badass, man. Love it.
Can I kind of change the topic a little bit? Ask a pragmatic question, unless anybody wants to keep going on this topic.
Go ahead, man.
Okay. Perps. I'm curious how is it going to work? Do you need secured assets for do secured assets have to scale in order for perps to scale? Or will perps
So
just trade on their own, and then whenever somebody wants to settle the trade, it just does it just buys Bitcoin out of the pool type thing? Yeah, how do perps work?
Perps, so the Perps model by Levana is a peer-to-pool model, so similar to a GMX a bit, where you effectively trade against an oracle. The only thing you need that consume secured asset is your collateral. The collateral you deposit, USDC, or you could do a Bitcoin collateral, and that's it. Then it's really just you trade fictive. You just trade a price feed. That's what you do. So no constraint on that side.
So perps could really scale. What I'm excited about app layer is perps, is futures trading. Like that could, like the futures market, for anybody who doesn't understand, THORChain is just a spot trading market right now, and spot is just I think like the physical market. You know, you're trading actual Bitcoin for Bitcoin, like actual gold for gold, whatever. The futures market, you're trading paper contracts, right? And people leverage them up 10 to 1, 100 to 1, whatever. In crypto, you've seen 125 to 1. So the volumes in the futures market in perpetuals is like at least 10 times higher than the spot market. And so that higher volume is great for us because it's more fees, right? And that's why I'm excited to see perps come out and how that goes. But that I was curious. That's why I'm asking this. I'm curious if they can scale. Can we really let it run? Sounds like we can. Like if everybody's doing, let's say everyone's doing 100 to 1 leverage. Well, we only need $1 of collateral for every $100 of volume. Basically, am I saying that right?
Yeah, that's correct. And you could like even say more because your long and your short compensate each other. So you can even be even more capital efficient as long as you are kind of delta neutral.
Nice. Well, that's exciting. I'm looking forward to that. So so perps will come out. Like, is it ready to go? Like after 3.6, you guys will be able to.
Yeah, it's for 3.7.
3.7.
So perhaps it's the only product we are like. It's Levana team. It's a different team. So I'm not the one closest to it. But okay. No worries. I'm happy to see your enthusiasm. in any case, we'll also have like spot margin trading, which will allow people to trade larger volumes with spots, and that will generate volume also for the base layer because of the interaction between spot on the app layer and the base layer. But for future, yeah, it's expected to come with probably 3.7, so right after the spot order book and the first version of the IMMs.
Gotcha. So maybe pay.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
Sure, maybe we should do a space with the Levana team and get them to walk us through perps.
Yeah, no, that would be good. You should get Jonathan's on it, and if you need to get connected, just let me know, and I'll put you in touch.
Perfect. Yeah, that would be great.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, because everything on Rujira is additional swap volume to what we have right now. So this is really, I think, just going to supercharge everything, really, not just for THORChain, but also Rujira, just the no KYC. Man, my audience here, I think a lot of you guys are in the know. I don't want to waste your time explaining things you already understand, but damn, this is very, very exciting what's going on. Super exciting. So yeah, I think you're right, Kenton. We need to get in touch with Levana, and thank you again, Permatic. And that would be a great space to do.
And guys, I'm gonna go in listen mode only because I need to head out very shortly, so I'll be on my device, but I don't think I will be speaking much more.
Yeah,
I hope that's okay.
Pas problem. Merci beaucoup. À bientôt, mon ami.
Avec plaisir. Merci, Denis. Take care, guys. Speak later.
Take care. Thank you.
And for those who don't know, because Kenton's fully doxxed, my legal name is Dennis, but I do go by Denny. So you guys can call me Denny. Doesn't matter to me though. Okay. I know it's confusing because my name is Dennis in Telegram, but I try to keep everything similar because I try to fight against impersonators because I have many. Okay, man, that was great. I love that Rujira update. Does anyone have anything else they want to add or come on stage, or do you think we missed anything, Kenton? I made a little list here and we blew right through it.
Okay, great. No, I don't know. I was just thinking how we can bring all this back to TCY. I think you said it well that like Rujira doesn't take anything away from THORChain. It adds, right? It's just going to add more volume, which is more revenue, more fees for THORChain, which is more yield for TCY. So future's bright for THORChain, which means it's bright for TCY.
Yeah, you're getting a percentage of the yield of a decentralized Binance. I don't think that's exaggeration. I don't think we're making, it's literally what it is. And it's better in every single way. We're probably going to have some hiccups. Guys, don't expect perfection. With new updates with 3.5.0, you saw some nodes have to learn, there's some differences, there's new mamirs, but all that stuff is very temporary. And when Rujira goes live, there's probably going to be some quirky things that happen. Okay. It's not a big deal. You should expect that. But I expect us to get these things fixed relatively quickly. Or maybe they just knock it out of the ballpark. I don't want to talk down these guys. They're brilliant, but this is coming, guys. This is the way it should be. And it's like I said, it's a 0 to 1 in just about every way when it comes to a centralized exchange. And we've built this thing together. And yeah, Kenton, TCY, I think it's going to be amazing. Go ahead, Slam.
Yeah, I was going to say I agree. And another thing that I also just wanted to point out, right, because I've also been seeing a bit of pessimism, online and with people commenting, ruin price dropped, about 10 cents. And, I immediately see a whole bunch of pessimistic reactions. I think people also need to appreciate the complexity of what is being achieved here, right? When we say decentralized Binance, decentralization comes with a lot of technical overhead. It comes with a lot of governance overhead, right? To try and convince 120 nodes, 80 nodes, to go in one direction over another, it takes time, it takes convincing, it takes campaigning, but it's worth it, right? Decentralization is worth it. And so, I can understand if people have frustration, everyone would like it to move faster at times, myself included. But I think people need to keep in mind about just what an incredible machine is being built. And if it doesn't move as fast as a centralized exchange, that's understandable. And the fact that it moves as fast as it does, I think is frankly incredible.
Oh, totally. And I think that's something I wish people would appreciate more with like decentralization is kind of like basically new in the last 15 years, right? Since Bitcoin was invented. And it's great for security, but it isn't great for speed, right? And that's the trade-off, right? Centralization is great for speed, but you give up security. So it's kind of, and we're trying to stick with security and decentralization, and it just takes time, right? But the trade-off is going to be a much more secure, robust, and safe exchange at the end of it. And my bet, I'm sure a lot of other people's bet, is that that's what the market is going to be drawn to. That security, that stability, that safety, always being on type thing, not being censored, permissionless. That's going to attract capital. So it's not going to happen overnight. It just takes time. But so like look at Bitcoin, right? Like the 10-minute block times, and if it's confirmations, you got to wait an hour for your payment to truly settle, to be confident. Whereas like Visa and MasterCard, it's like seconds, right? And it's like, well, how will Bitcoin ever compete? It's like, well, look where Bitcoin is today, right? Are we at 100 grand yet, or we're close? Who'd ever thought we'd get this far? Give THORChain 10 years. Like it's not going to happen overnight. Just like Bitcoin didn't take off overnight, right? It took a decade. So, but we're moving in that direction. Like the way Bitcoin succeeded is the same way THORChain is going to succeed.
100%. Yeah, I totally agree. And yeah, I mean, decentralization, it can be slow, but I think one of the things that does impress me is actually our speed. I mean, people adopting 3.5.0, or when things happen, I do feel like we have the ability to move, but then we're slow when it matters, like the economic changes. Like I want our fee to go down to 5 basis points. I think that's the correct call, and it's getting to that point, but it's taking a while. But I think there is some good there, that it's just not, we're not flipping on and off switches, and I do appreciate the slow roll. I think that has its own value. We do have a new speaker, THORChain Jerome, if that's how you say it. Go ahead and test your mic, man. What's going on?
Test, can you hear me?
Yeah, brother, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I was just because you are talking about like decentralization and the benefits, and I wanted to talk about something. I've been thinking about this a lot recently, because like decentralization, especially in THORChain, right, is like, if people talk about decentralization, like they think about the different nodes and how it cannot be stopped maybe by a state or something. But decentralization also in THORChain, I feel like it's also like a form of democracy, right? So, and I've been thinking a lot about democracy, and I feel like THORChain is one of the more democratized projects, and it's, I think, the most democratized project I've came across. And like democratization is also like finding the right path forward, the right decisions. If you have one guy at top, he may be wrong more often or not. So yeah, I think that's really nice about THORChain.
Yeah,
I agree with you. That's attracted me to THORChain. I would say we're at least in the top 10 for most decentralized cryptos.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you look at all these other DAOs, and they say they're decentralized, and they have you can vote with your tokens and stuff, but it's like 2 or 3 guys have over 50% of the tokens, and they just decide to vote every time, right? So it's
Many people share opinions and get discussed, and it's one of many opinions are
Oh,
really
you're all
flawed.
breaking up. Is it just me, or is it
yeah, he's broken up.
Patreon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, test.
Okay, you're
Yeah,
good
okay,
now.
that's
Go ahead.
better.
Hello.
Yeah, can you say it all over again? You're cutting in and out. THORChain, can you hear us?
I think we lost him, but I'll wait for him to see if he can get fixed. But I like what he said, and that's one of our big core goals here, is to I don't know if increasing the democracy of THORChain is how you want to say it, but we want more unique node operators, and Slambammer is a product of that. And I'm sure Slammer, you can speak for yourself, but I'm sure you reached out to Runtard. And one of the really cool things about THORChain is the node operators helping other node operators, because if we have more unique nodes, it only makes the whole system stronger. Absolutely incredible. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that, where the competition is teaching the other competition how to be better, and to because honestly, you need competent node operators for churns and everything else. Go ahead, Slambammer. This is a perfect time for you.
Yeah, so what I was going to say on that is, even when Interchain was speaking, is another thing I think THORChain that sets THORChain apart is the fact that it has a history of honoring, its track record, and not leaving, not sweeping things under the rug. THORChain's been through hacks in the past, for which people were reimbursed. THORFi itself was something that would have killed 99% of other protocols. The fact that it could come back from that is nothing short of miraculous, and it's attributable to the strength that we have within this community, right? So when I see THORChain, of this protocol, it's got elements of that. It's got elements of what you were speaking about with regards to node operators helping onboard other node operators. It is truly something special,
And that's why I said it on that sort of profile that the THORChain account did on me. But this is a project. When you work on it, you get to work with people who are literally on the forefront of technical capability in the space, and you get to work with people that are on the forefront of integrity and on delivery consistently. And it is seriously a great place to be.
It's exciting. So like THORChain is full of doers. Like people that don't, so many people are armchair quarterbacks, but a lot of people on THORChain just get out and do stuff, right? And it's to pick up slack wherever it needs to be done. It's like I don't know if anyone's been to Burning Man, but for me that's what's exciting. Everyone thinks Burning Man is just a rave in a desert, everyone getting hot and crazy. But the best part of Burning Man is Sunday to Wednesday, where all the builders are there, all the doers, the people that actually make it happen. Like it's exciting, to be surrounded by that many like doers. And so for me, working on THORChain is like I'm like going to Burning Man every day because it was surrounded by so many doers and people like getting shit done. It's exciting. It's stimulating.
I am so addicted to this ecosystem, and to what you said, Slambammer and Kenton. It's, think about what happened, right? We had THORFi implosion, right? And then, we had a big churn out, lots of nodes left. And I don't even think necessarily a lot of those nodes were choosing to churn out, but they had bond providers and they voted to churn. It just takes one, depending on the params, however they have it, right? And then shortly after that, we didn't even have an idea of a full plan. I don't think the Proposition 6 was fully agreed upon. Then we had the Bybit exploit. And then Thor node operators had to have a mini civil war about retaining our core principle about permissionlessness. And this is not to dog on any node operator that decided to pause ETH transactions. I'm not saying that at all, because everyone has their good reasons. But the fact that we maintained that showed that we had tremendous bravery in node operators. And that's something, honestly, I'll just be honest with you guys, I didn't know the node operators, if things really, if rubber hits the road, are they ready to go? Are they ride or die? But there is no doubt now. There is no doubt now of how tough and resilient this community is. And I don't want to make it about me and Kenton, but, there was a time like where it was mass panic. We got on a call together and we were talking. We didn't once mention about us like selling Rune and giving up. We said, well, what can we do? What are we going to do? And then, we did that space. It was like 3.5 hours, whatever it was. I mean, and everyone here is like that. Everyone's here. The people who hold Rune now, the main holders of Rune, they are absolute diamond-handed diehards. And so are the node operators. And so guys, let's make it even better, right? If you are someone with some technical skill, Kubernetes, or if you're curious, if you have the technical skill, reach out to Runetard, reach out to Slambammer. We'll get you some bonfires. Let's make THORChain even tougher than it already is, because maybe we'll need that strength. I'm hoping the hardest days are behind us. I really am, but don't take that for granted. Don't think that's the case. Assume we even have greater challenges to conquer. And if we have that mentality, I think we're going to do quite well.
Yeah, and if we have everybody grinding, everybody doing something, that's how we get there quicker. And that's how we have more success too. Like a good example is TCY Bull. I don't know if you guys have been following him or not, but he reached out to me and I talked to him for like, I don't know, over an hour or something. And he's in a pretty bad position with his TCY and whatnot, everything that happened and how it was affecting him personally. And I said, hey, man, channel all of that into like positivity, like channel that into change, channel that into promoting TCY. And he did. And I'm like, I'm super impressed with the guy. Most people, I'm not saying everyone should listen to my advice, always do what I say, right? But how many times do you talk to somebody who's kind of down and you give them some advice and they never take it, right? They never take it. They're just looking to complain, basically. This guy wasn't. He thought about it. He's like, yeah, you're right. I'm going to, instead of just lamenting about my situation, I'm going to try and improve it. And he created the Twitter handle TCY Bull. He's been posting about it, trying to get, I think he got Alex some interviews about it. Like he's doing what he can to, promote TCY so that the price will go up and he can sell. I'm not, that sounds bad, right? It's not, he's he needs to sell to get his money back, right? It's not to pump and dump on people. That's not what I'm trying to say. But he's doing honest work to try and highlight and showcase the value of TCY to attract buyers. Like that is honest. That's what a job of a CEO of a public company is to attract people to buy their stock and to hold it, right? Like there's nothing wrong with that. And he's one guy, and he blew up his Twitter account just by taking action. And so and there's no reason anyone else listening to this can't do that, whether it's today or if you listen to 6 months from now or something. And so many people think, oh, I'm a nobody, or I got no followers, or I only have $1,000 a rune or whatever. It doesn't matter. That's the beauty of decentralization, is that like every little bit counts. Get in there, do something. Even if you're like copy and pasting people's tweets and putting it in TikTok or something, I don't know. Like there's something that anybody can do. If you're motivated to do it and you're like, I want to help, I want to do something, you can. There's something you can do, and every little bit counts.
Yeah, and then that's right. Like there's no, when I look at accounts or like I've talked to people who have like 34 followers, and they're absolutely brilliant, absolute genius level, wonderful human beings that have a lot of skills they can contribute. And Kenton, I like how you're trying to check yourself about the pump and dump worry, but guys, I mean, you audit everything we're doing here. What have we said? I mean, I don't want to hear why TCY is going to work. Tell us why you think it's going to fail, right? I mean, this is an open forum, and you heard what we said before. I mean, we have increase in volume, we have new change. I mean, we have Rujira coming, a completely 0-to-1 innovation. You heard Kenton talk about perps. I mean, we have a case. TCY Bull has a case why TCY is going to do. It's not just, I mean, there's merit to what we're saying here. But again, we're not interested in like patting ourselves on the back and, wanking each other off. Why is it going to fail? Tell me where the weaknesses are so we can address them. That's what I think.
Yeah. And that's how markets work, right? There's, if you're, markets aren't a zero-sum game, right? It's like, I think everybody thinks somebody has to lose in order for others to gain. It's like, well, that's not necessarily true. Like, yeah, there are winners and losers, but overall net, it's everybody wins. In free markets, and crypto is the freest market we have. So if somebody's buying TCY at $1 because somebody sells at $1, well, both parties win, right? Because somebody's selling TCY at $1, they're getting what they want, and somebody's buying TCY at $1 to get what they want. No one's forcing either person into that transaction. They're both going into their eyes open, and they're both getting what they want, so they both win. And like, for some people might think my TCY at $1 is expensive. I still think it's cheap. I wouldn't be surprised if TCY hits $1 within a year, if not even, maybe it spikes up there in their first week and then comes down. Yeah, you go through some very simple, basic valuations, basic conservative assumptions, and like you get to 30, 40, 50 cents pretty quick. And then if you want to add in any kind of speculative premium, you could get up to 80 cents per dollar pretty quick. So yeah, like it's not pump and dumpy to be promoting, stuff like that. That's just honest valuation type work, right? So there's nothing nefarious going on there.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember the conversation we had, Kenton, when everything was, it was a long conversation. But one of the things I kept saying was like, this is like, when it came to the THORFi default and the Sabres defaults, like this is so fixable. Like what THORChain is absolutely incredible tech. And that goes to what you said about TCY evaluation. I mean, it's 2025. I know you guys have been in here for a while. There's a lot of veterans in the space that have been following THORChain for years, longer than myself. Probably there's some people in here, and we're still so early, and the growth every year has been exponential. has been exponential. And now we have Mocha's in here. We've got Rujira. We've got Pragmatic Monkey. We have all these separate teams. We have Strange Love. We have so many more people now working on THORChain, and it's just numbers just keep growing and growing and growing. And so many people have stepped up, and we've made new relationships. I mean, Kenton and I have become closer since we've been working together, and there's so many different individual relationships, in our ecosystem. And that's the thing, is like there's a mission, there's a passion, and then there's a bond. And it's just looking great. It's looking great. So I don't want to risk repeating myself, but I'm very thankful where we've come, and we've still got ways to go. But there's also a really big event to change it up a little bit that's coming. And I want to keep talking about this just to mention it. I want to keep in people's minds, is that's MAYO protocol. I don't know when. I can't follow attention every day, but they're going to be adding a privacy coin, Zcash. And guys, I don't know what's going to happen. That's a very big moment, I think, for our industry. And I just want people to keep that in the back of your mind, because who knows what the consequence of that's going to be. But of course, I fully support them. I'm super excited. I'm very thankful that they're going to do that. And, MAYO protocol was there for us, THORChain, and by extension, Rujira. If they need our help, let's be there for them. I always want to make sure I mention that every so often, because that is huge. That's absolutely huge. And I'm very excited to see how that materializes.
Definitely.
It is huge. Go ahead,
sorry,
Soundhammer.
I was just going to say, all of these are incremental changes, but, like you say, MAYO protocol adds a privacy coin. The Rujira app layer adds, direct to bank off ramps and things like that. And, little by little, we are joining the dots towards, a pretty direct line straight from a privacy coin into fiat, which again, I think is going to be really, really interesting to see how that plays out.
And then, sorry if you're going to speak, Kenton, the AI trading bots, that's coming too, right? Like there's so many mind-blowing things that are coming. And I'm not an expert at all at that. I'm actually, if you guys want to talk about that, please. Wow. So I was listening to a space the other day, I forget with who, but there is so many huge changes coming all at once. Like a cacophony of just wildly powerful things. And it's exciting. I don't know.
The AI trading bots, I'm
Can
looking
I say
forward to
something
that
to that?
too. Oh, is that an interchange?
Yeah, go ahead, buddy. I know you had trouble there.
Yes, because I don't know if people from THORChain, they know it so well, the Orca, like the liquidation engine, and this coming for Bitcoin is, to me, is crazy. That's the dream since Terra, man. It's amazing, really.
Interchange, forgive me, I forget what we were talking about where you got cut off. Do you want to pick up where you left off?
You don't hear me? Hello?
No, I can hear you now.
We
But
hear you.
remember before you were talking, we couldn't hear you, it was cutting in and out. What were you saying?
I think everything has been said there. I don't know. I wanted to say, because of democracy, there was this study where you have to guess how many candies are in a jar or something like that, and they found that like the average of everybody was almost spot on. Yeah.
Oh yes, but no individual
Yeah.
got the number correct, but the average of all the numbers
Yeah,
was
like
correct.
yeah, exactly. Like they all differ extremely, but then the average was
Yeah,
spot on.
I get it, and I agree with you. That's for me the way I look at myself being a node operator in THORChain is, I have a strong personality. I'm very opinionated. I'm going to share my ideas and opinions with everyone, but I do acknowledge I'm not always right. And what I hope is that all the node operators get out there and speak their mind from their own backgrounds, their own experience, their own knowledge, what have you, and you get 100, 120 of us doing that. Like not any individual one of us is going to be correct, but if you average out all those voices and opinions, that average will be right. And so that's, it's scary. Sometimes I speak my mind and what I think should be done, but it's embarrassing being wrong or not getting something right. But I think it's necessary for us to come to that, find that average amongst us, find that to get to that end answer. So that's that interchange. I'm really glad you brought that up. I think that's huge.
Yeah, that was well said, interchange. And guys, like, because like right now I'm talking, and then everyone who's listening, they have ability to talk at their phone and argue with me, unbeknownst to what I'm saying. Okay, maybe there's something I say that's just inaccurate, incorrect. I would just say it's strongly incumbent of you to step up here and correct me if I'm wrong, because as to Kenton's point, no one up here, not a single individual, can build THORChain or this massive ecosystem we have. Not me, not Kenton, not Pragmatic Monkey, not Chad, not JP, not With the Coke, not Mocha. We all did this together. It is the shared life experience and knowledge and experiences that made THORChain survive. Okay. Any one of us could have come, like, let's just say any person in here, you, the listener, you have ultimate power to to decide the direction of THORChain. Chances are you could have made, if you had a magic wand, a catastrophic decision that would have destroyed everything. Because you got to think on just the basic raw code level. It just takes the slightest miscalculation, the slightest inaccuracy, the wrong auditing of the code for there to be a terrible P0 bug that just messes everything up. So this is a shared endeavor. And yeah, to your point, Kenton, I think that was well said. I don't like being wrong, but I am actually happier to be corrected because I try not to. I try to like compartmentalize my mind. It's hard because we're humans, right? So we have a amygdala, emotional part of your brain. Then you have a prefrontal cortex, a logical part of your brain. The emotions are useful, but they have, there's not always a lot of. It's not the most useful thing. I try to model my brain to get happy and excited and thankful if someone emancipates me from ignorance, because you just made me stronger and better, right? And that stays with me. So yeah, I encourage anyone, call me out. I swear I won't take it personally.
I think that's generally pretty good in the THORChain community when people point out others' errors or mistakes. It's not oh, you stupid idiot, you don't know what you're talking about, like if everyone tries to be, I think is pretty respectful about it and sticks to first principles, then it's okay, right? And it's like that's how brainstorming works, right? Is that you throw out ideas and whatnot, somebody shoots it down for whatever reason, but then everybody hearing that reasoning leads to other ideas and sparks new ideas from other people, and you get this iterative process going, and especially if it's a safe place for people to throw their ideas out without getting chastised. It just encourages more ideas to come and more people to speak up, which is what we want, we need, right? That's what makes us healthy. I think overall, I think THORChain's done a pretty good job of that over the years.
Yeah, and like to your point, the TCY person, sorry to cut you off with the Coke, I'll let you go, but the TCY individual that came up with a random idea that you guys talked about, here it is, it's materialized on stage. You told Pragmatic Monkey, and maybe that's something that's going to have tremendous positive influence on the protocol. So that's great. Go ahead with the Coke.
Yeah, exactly. As Kento mentioned, like what I liked, what I really enjoyed that happened like last week is that we had Crypto Italian. He had his own frustrations. We know he's like this soft father. He has his own opinion on THORChain, on JP, that, and even I this week when the room dropped 10 cents, suddenly you had like this influx of people saying like, oh, this is the scammer coin. And I've been always like being following the THORChain like this in the shadows, not being an active community member. And thank God we had this THORFi collapse, and I become an active member, kind of like a TCY bull. Had my inner energy to come up front and start to work for the community. But yeah, we have those naysayers. We never block them, and seeing, for example, like this week, change flip having this really bad time, I think they are taking really bad approach, trying to silence, trying to mute people. But in THORChain, we take everybody and embrace everybody's ideas, like bad, good, maybe wrong. But we know, as we told, like as the study was, when it comes to the majority of the or the average of the discussion, it's usually on point. Some people overreact, some people underreact to relaxed. But as a group, as a whole, as a community, like we are here, we always come up with the best ideas. I think that we have a great set of people here, like Slambam, Kenton, Patreon, Slam, Programming Monkey. Everybody here, this team that we have here, it's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I wasn't aware, I don't follow Chainflip, but if they're having issues, I wish them well. I don't want anyone to fail. You know what I mean? So, but yes, I think you're right. If you, and I've said this before, if you have something bad that happens, you just kind of own it. You got to take it on the chin. That makes it so much better. Like if someone points a finger, let's say you make a mistake and someone points a finger and says, you did this and that was wrong. When you say, yeah, you're right, I agree, that is the biggest diffusing thing. That just takes all the wind out of their sails, because you've met them on the level that they wanted. And if it's true, it's true. You know what I mean? Don't just agree to something if it didn't happen, right? But of course, but you see, like, you just have to be open and transparent, and people pick up on that very well. Like, humans are very intuitive. If I'm being disingenuous or not being honest, or I'm trying to obfuscate or hide facts or conceal something, or try to change the subject, people are very, very perceptive and they pick up on it immediately. So just being open, honest, and just being a reliable conveyor of your understanding of the zeitgeist, of the status quo, whatever's going on, that's the case. And then you mentioned, like, the whole people who talk about price, they say the crazy stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. You guys can tell me. My brain, I don't even, when I see people like say, oh, it's, someone selling or this or that, it doesn't even affect me. I'm just like, oh, okay. I just keep scrolling. Because what I'm thinking in the back of my brain, what I'm thinking is, where is THORChain at right now? What's going on currently? What's the progress? What are the goals? What's the process? Are we making good decisions? Blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking of all the catalysts, both positive and negative, for THORChain. And that's how I think of the price. Like, I don't even care. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even care if someone's like, I'm a bull. I'm a perma bull, right? But if I see someone's other opinion about, like, THORChain to the moon, the first thing I'm doing is thinking about what's actually going on. You see what I'm saying? So, and that can change, right? If we were making bad decisions tomorrow, obviously, I'm not going to look at that. I don't want to.
Yeah, absolutely. I have exactly the same view like you. Of course, it sucks when we came down from $5 to $1, but then I start looking into the fundamentals. So, okay, what's going on? Are we going to be insolvent? Are we going to be bankrupt? Oh, we have guide rails there. We cannot have this like a death spiral like Luna had. So that's right away snapped me over. Okay, I guess we're all underpriced. Let's continue working. We will issue this. We will have the Prop 6. The price is, I think the price is like this noise that like the bullish people, bearish people will just hang on and will spin like all kinds of stories about us. But as you told, like, I look at the fundamentals. We have now the new chains coming up, Rujira coming up. This is not priced in. So we should not discuss price. And just yesterday, actually, I posted on my profile as well. Like I had this like tweet like, hey, I posted like, okay, 5.6, 3.5 is live, and somebody posted like, hey, which upgrade is going to pump the price? I'm like, bro, at the moment there is no upgrade that's going to pump the price, because we have to, first of all, we have to repair our reputation, that we have to get even with the TCY. Reputation is the most important. So if we get the TCY guys back to $1, great. And if we increase our revenue, imagine, guys, if we have like 30%. For example, at the moment we are hovering around 10%. Some churns lower than 10%, some churns higher than 10%. Real APY. But if we are going to have like 30% APY because of all the perps and stuff, we are undervalued, and the price will pick up. Of course, sometimes the market can be irrational longer than we can be solvent. For God be it if somebody had to sell with $1 of Rune to just, I don't know, pay the bills and became insolvent. But at the moment, I think that we have a lot of market pressure that is pressuring us, but we have to be solvent longer than market is pressuring us.
And Kenan's brought this point up. You know, if we want, we have to get the Rune off Binance. We have to get off centralized exchanges because, as Kenton has mentioned before, and if you want to talk more about this, Kenton, is that, you know, people use that Rune on the centralized exchange to like short it or whatever. So, and I think this is happening naturally with all the bond providers. We are sucking Rune out at, you know, maybe it's not going to be at leaps and bounds, but it's going to be at a steady pressure, like a steady siphon. And yeah. And like what I would say to your point with the Coke is, you know, how many people have the understanding of THORChain and the surrounding ecosystem as you do, the listener or the speaker or the co-host? Like how many people? It's a very small percentage of the global population truly understands the precipice of incredible innovation of which we stand upon. And we just need to take a few more steps, and it's just going to be absolutely wild. I mean, there is not, I mean, it's literally no one understands this stuff. So if I were to give any advice, and again, I'm not a professional marketer or anything like that, but
absolutely,
just default to your
couple
understanding.
hundred people. It's just couple hundred, maybe
tiny,
below 1,000 people for sure who have this deep understanding. What I would say, deep understanding, like when the crisis happened, like how many people actually knew that we cannot death spiral? Yes, we can get stuck with honoring the loans and stuff, but we cannot death spiral zero. There is not a lot of people, and we are
even some bond providers thought we would go to zero.
Exactly.
That's why 30 some nodes were churning out all at once. Sorry, go ahead, keep going.
No, you continue.
No, that was it. I just want to add to what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. There's there is a handful of people who know in depth about THORChain, about history, what has been happening, how it works, and what's the actually true mechanics. For me, what is like when we had this collapse, and for me, what is the most mind-boggling, how actually before the collapse, before THORify collapsed, we had this like boat that were rowing in different directions. And now when we came out of this THORify thing, everybody's aligned. We don't, the Rune token is not anymore like a collateral asset. Like LPs, bond providers, everybody earns Rune. The people who earn Rune are here for the long game. Rune is now deflationary. It's not like we are deflationary. Not that we have maxed out supply, but we are deflationary. So it means we have constant buying pressure, and the buying pressure is going for the people who actually care about the THORChain, the Rune. I don't know any other protocol, any other token that is set up mechanically in a way that like everything that happens is going to be funneled back to the people that actually believe and love this protocol. That's crazy. It's amazing.
I think that was well said, guys. You're in here, you're listening to this. There's only 25 people in here. You guys are listening to the latest. Like, your hard work is the alpha. Okay, your understanding is the alpha. Okay, you guys put in the work, you listen to spaces, you try to understand the very nuances of any protocol or whatever you're interested in, and you've earned the knowledge that With the Coke is saying. And I could repeat what he said, but I think he said excellently. I mean, use your own brain, try to model out where this goes and what we've done, because as Kenton said on previous spaces, the amount of silver linings that came from our hard troubles are numerous. And I think the silver linings actually outweigh the negative at this point. It's always painful when it's happening. It's always painful the first few days and the first and second week, but that pain starts to go away with time, and there's an understanding, and then there's wisdom that's been gained from things. And like I said, the homogenizing of this community and understanding what we truly are and what truly works and what truly doesn't work and where we need to go from here. So, yeah, kudos to you all.
Yeah. And add to, with the Coke talking about all the yield being paid in Rune and going to strong hands like Rune holders. Put it in the context. I think we're still on pace to make 50 million in revenue this year. That's $50 million of buy pressure on the Rune token, which goes to LPs and BPs. And that's basically Rune going to strong hands, so it's not being sold. Now, if with Rujira and the Apple layer coming out, Ripple, Solana, all these new tokens coming out, maybe we get another integration. Maybe our revenue gets to 100 million this year, and so that's 100 million buy pressure on Rune token. The market cap is like 400 million, 400 and some right now. Like, that's 1/4 of all the Rune being bought, and being sent to strong hands. Like, that's got to have some impact on the price. Like, I don't know when, I don't know what the turning point will be, but the inflection point, it's got to have an impact on the price. And where's that Rune coming from? It was really only two sources. It's the liquidity pools on THORChain or Binance. And it'll be interesting to see which one's the weaker hands. My assumption is Binance, that will just slowly be sucking more Rune off of Binance, which is good. That'd be the absolute best case scenario. That $100 million worth of Rune that we buy in fees, that all comes from Binance. That'd be the cat's meow, because we get all that Rune off of the exchange. But I'm assuming it's being a mix of both. And actually, now I say that out loud, maybe it'd be interesting to try and see if there's a way to kind of try and track that over the next year, because we can see how much Rune is held in Binance, so we can see if that's been slowly drops over time. But yeah, no, that's just, so let's pretend it's 100 million in buy pressure in 1 year. What about the year after that? The year after that? And if the revenue keeps going up, like, the price has got to move. It's got to move a lot. So it's just gonna take time. It's gonna take patience.
Okay, Kenton, you've convinced me. You guys can front run me. I'm buying Rune as soon as this friggin' space is over. You guys get and you know what? My dog's gonna have to fast for a week. Okay, he's gonna do it for the greater good. Dude, Kenton. I mean, just thinking, like, Rujira, we haven't made a penny on Rujira yet. That's all additional swap volume with THORChain. Not a single penny has been used on Rujira yet. I mean, dude, your modeling is 100% correct. 100%. I think it is. My opinion, right?
Yeah.
Dude.
Like, it
blows my mind.
And they keep trying to stick with the title of our space. This all trickles down to TCY as well, right? All that increased revenue, all those increased fees, that benefits TCY. And if anything, TCY will be a more, in theory, it should be a more accurate gauge and measure of the market's projection of THORChain's revenue, because TCY is a straight line. That 10% of the revenue, a straight line, right? Like, it's just, buying Rune, you still have to put it into a pool or put it into a node. Like, you don't get yield off it instantly or right away, but with TCY you do. So it'll be really interesting to see how TCY trades, what revenue is projecting into the future, because I'm still convinced that revenue at THORChain is gonna, like, double and double and double and double again over the next 10 years type thing. As long as we just keep plugging away, everyone keeps doing what they've been doing, constantly making updates and tweaks and improvements and new integrations, new chains. It's, in my mind, it's inevitable. Just take time.
It will double, and we have to keep it. When it comes to TCY, I think it's going to be this like newborn. It's going to be unexpected. We don't know how he or she will react. But guys, you have to understand, THORChain, again, imagine as a robot. We are now rowing in same direction. We have back in days we used to have like robot of two. One was paddling another way and the other was paddling the other way. Now we have the double robot rowing in the same direction. But we have to keep in mind we have Rujira. So now we have actually a robot of 4 people rowing at the same direction, guys. It is so much momentum into the correct direction. We have Auto Rujira. We have so much to come. So we have this Olympic 8-person robot instead of having this one-to-one battle before, guys. This is so much. This is so much different. The tokenomics are different. The tokenomics funnel all the rune, first of all the buy pressure is in rune, and all the rune that gets bought up from the market is going to be strong hands. It's so much different than having this average Cosmos coin where you like just validate, and like I did as well. So right away you sell your all the rewards just to like pay your expense. It's different. It's so much different. It's new paradigm, guys. THORChain, and it's only been 4 months. And as Kento mentioned, like we don't know where this balance point happens, but at some point we are going to dip. So we will exhaust all the sellers. I don't care who is going to be the seller, the father or I don't even care. Is it going to be JP, whatever, to finance his new helicopter? I don't care. But the tipping point will happen. And community, as I've seen lately, is so strong, and we are so open-minded, discuss all the good, bad, and evil. It's just amazing, guys. So I think next 5 months to year, it's going to be fun. It's going to be amazing.
I really liked your rowboat analogy. I thought that was great. Yeah, I mean, with the Thorfine Sabers, we kind of were like multiple people were in the rowboat, but we're like rowing in different directions, and maybe we're like doing circles, or like we're not moving at all. So, I thought that was great. And to speak more on TCY, because it is the title of the space, and kind of been talking about it all that much. The module the claiming module that TCY is going to be in, where people haven't redeemed their TCY yet, that's going to be earning yield too. And that yield is strictly going to be going and buying more TCY. So yeah, guys, I think TCY is got a good shot here to help a lot of people out, or at least help people recover, their money faster. And then also there's been talk, this is years on, because TCY, I want to make sure it's absolutely clear. I am viciously opposed to anyone who thinks that we should just turn TCY off. Like, no, like TCY is going to be part of THORChain for a very, very long time, because that's part of the reason why it has value. It's they're buying on the long-term time horizon of THORChain increasing revenue. So, but one thing you could think out is years and years down the line, where TCY has been bought by itself so much in the module that you actually, I don't know if you would, maybe Kenton, you can talk about this, like, you could either burn that, or you could do something. You can make TCY even more powerful, or at least then redirect some of that revenue back to like nodes and LPs and whatever. There's a lot of things that are possible. So yeah, I don't know if you want to touch on that, but that's something that I like thinking about as well.
Yeah, I think just having the module just continuously rebuy TCY, because inevitably there's going to be some TCY that isn't claimed, right? People forgot about it or lost their keys or whatever. And so module, in theory, will always have some TCY. And as long as this keeps buying and buying and buying, I guess in theory, one day it could own all the TCY that exists, and if that happens, then fine, then we write it off. We just delete it basically, and then that 10% of the revenue starts going back towards pools and LPs. But I'd honestly be shocked if that ever happens. There's probably always going to be some left over. So Yeah, I agree with you. Like we have to, like, let's say 10 years from now, there's maybe, I don't know, 5% of the TCY is still be out there in people's hands. There could be a lot of temptation to do something then, but I'm like, well, no, I think we have to leave it and keep it and honor the promise, basically.
Yes.
Because this is one thing that actually kind of frustrates me. Some people say, well, it's, THORChain is decentralized, and what the nodes decide today, um, there's no guarantee, there's no contract, right? A year from now, you could have completely different nodes who have a completely different idea what to do with THORChain, which is true. That's technically true. I agree. I understand that. But it's no different than saying a year from now, McDonald's could have completely new management and directors, and they get rid of their French fries and replace them with broccoli. Well, yeah, they could do that. There's nothing stopping them. That's totally legal. But they'd be complete retards to do that, right? Nobody goes to McDonald's for broccoli. They love their French fries. So this is the whole concept of a brand, and a brand is about consistency, and the consumer knowing they can trust that this brand is going to stay true to its promise, its word, or what it's been doing in the last in McDonald's case in the last whatever 50 years. Um, um, and that's what gives that brand staying power. So applying that to THORChain, I think we have to honor our promise with TCY and keep it going. And no matter how tempting it is to maybe change it, if we do, even if it's 10 years from now, we just be demonstrating to the market that THORChain can't hold its promises, that it's always gonna do something that kind of to benefit itself at the expense of the user. And that was the whole argument with defaulting on THORFi, right? Like, let everyone else hang out to dry so THORChain can survive. It's like, well, no, THORChain's doing an honest effort to not do that and pay people back. So even if it's 10 years from now, we go back on that, where I feel like it's no different than doing it now, type of thing.
I agree.
And then, and anyone curious, like the only way TCY is going to reach its highest valuation is if the market is confident it'll never change, that deal is always there. And this is why that 10% was hard coded into the code. It's not a mimir. So like it'd be technically anything can change on THORChain, but the devs made it as hard as possible to change for this reason, so that it lasts, so that it's there and the nodes don't change it arbitrarily.
And if again, I think what I want to come back to is THORChain has a history of keeping its promises, right? Look at what happened with the hacks. Look at with the very implementation of TCY and rolling it out. And I mean, I don't know who of you were paying that close attention in the restructuring, but in the restructuring, I fought hard for dual liquidity providers, right? Because in some of the proposals, they had a pretty short straw that they drew. But the proposal that we settled on was one that gave everyone the fairest shot that we could, right? And this is what I would always point to: is THORChain has a history of keeping its promises, and I became a node provider, node operator for the very purpose of ensuring that it kept its promises long term. I don't have any fear that it will, but the community and the direction that we've always seen the protocol move is to honor its word, and so I would very much keep reminding people of that.
Yeah, and I feel like I made that statement a little clumsy because I was talking about TYC. I wasn't necessarily like meaning it go away, but you could actually you could actually make an even better deal if you had this module TCY. You could make some alterations there. But not necessarily like removing TCY at all, because I don't think that'll ever happen, to Kenton's point at all. I totally agree. But like Kenton, like I was saying, is like, if that module gets more and more TCY, wow, I mean, a TCY could be an asset that just blows everyone's expectations out of the way. And I think there's definitely a great shot of that happening with all the good things that are happening.
And maybe like, let's go back to my scenario where let's say the module has like 95% of the TCY and there's still 5% outstanding. And like if that auto compounding feature is on, that means the TCY price would be pretty high. We're not obligated to keep that auto compounding feature on. We could turn that off and just the TCY that's held in the module, we could just reroute that yield to the pools and nodes. So that 5% of TCY would still be outstanding. And I get how would it even work? Maybe we would just write off. We would just cancel that 95% of the TCY that the protocol owns. We could do something like that, and that's still honoring the promise. It's still not
right,
because the protocol bought that TCY, owns it fair and square type thing. So that wouldn't be reneging on anything, and that'd be a way to basically remove put a final nail in the coffin of the liability and remove it as much as possible. So I guess what I'm trying to say, Patriots, is you're right that there's things we could do with that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was angling from. I was a little nervous that I described it very poorly, because it's very easy to do talking and thinking fast up here as a speaker, and you say things that are not accurate, and then you don't realize that's what happened. So thank you for clarifying that. I was a little nervous there for a second. Okay, well, guys, we are coming on 2 hours. Again, does anyone want to come up and have any questions, comments, or concerns? Be more than happy to do that. But yeah, I think we've covered things pretty well. And dude, again, it's great to have you back, Kenton. I know people missed you. People were asking me like why you weren't on the last space, and I was like, wow, he's on vacation. Let the man rest.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm back, so I'm happy to do this again next week. Did I hear right? Did somebody say Crypto Sailor was on the last space?
No, they were talking about Crypto Italia.
Okay. Because I don't know if Crypto Sailor is listening. I remember I invited him to come to a space a few weeks ago, and he couldn't get on because I think somebody has him blocked, and so he wasn't able to join or something like that. I was not blocking you, Crypto Sailor. I don't have you blocked. You're happy to have you on and to talk. But I don't know if you guys follow him, but he can be quite negative sometimes. But how to say this? I wanted to give him just know we're not censoring anybody. Like we're not cherry picking who we have come up and speak. Anybody who requests, I approve. I'm pretty sure you do too, Patriot.
Yeah,
So like,
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's weird. I don't have him blocked. I don't know what happened there. Maybe I would hope that he would default. Like, there's just technical problems with that. Because I mean, sometimes you and I do a space, and it's just a friggin' nightmare up here trying to get. It's horrible. Like people are requesting to come up. I don't see the requests. It just doesn't work, and that's why I'm on my desktop right now. I've given up my phone. My phone just has like a mental breakdown when I try to do a space on it. So yeah, I don't censor anybody. And people who atturned last week, we had Crypto Italia up here, and he can be of strong.
Oh, sorry. Too. No, it is Crypto Italia. I'm sorry. I'm getting the two mixed up. Crypto Sailor is the interchain. I'm sorry. Sorry, Crypto Sailor. I'm getting you mixed up with Crypto Italia. It's Crypto Italia. He's got the rocket ship.
Perfect. There we go.
Icon, right? Yes. Sorry. Apologies. It's Crypto Italia I was talking about. Sorry.
Well, he came up last week, and I let him. I mean, you can listen to it. I let him speak, and with the Coke said, he had full, whatever, say whatever. We don't censor people up here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Good. So yeah, okay, good. Because Crypto Italia, if you're listening, I don't know what happened that last space. I didn't purposely not have you on or anything like that. And Crypto Sailor, I'm sorry for getting you mixed up.
No worries. Okay, guys. Yeah, man. I don't know. Do you want to wrap it here? Does anyone have anything else they want to add or anything? Yeah.
I'm good to wrap it up because I have to get going myself.
Okay. Perfect. Okay then, guys. So yeah, just a reminder, Cinco de Mayo, TCY is coming. If you're listening to this recording, please share the space, highlight important moments that you thought were good. and get some people. I want people to hear this. And please, guys, be super careful when you're doing your TCY. Look out for scams. Be vigilant. Be smart. Use your brain. Do not use your amygdala, or that is your brain. Don't use your prefrontal cortex, not your amygdala. Okay. Let's see. There was something else I wanted to say. Oh, I think tomorrow.
Be wary on the price, right, guys, when you're
Yes.
buying or selling in the pools, because the pools may be very shallow. So it's not going to take a lot of buy or sell pressure to move the price. So, maybe start with a few grand type thing, see how the price goes. Don't try and do 5 or 6 figures all at once, because you could get a really bad price execution.
Yeah, you're gonna have a very sad day. Don't do that, guys. Okay. I'm gonna be doing an interview, as far as I know, with Cal. I think that's, I don't know if it's Call or Cal. I apologize, sir. Tomorrow, I think it's 11 Central Standard Time. I might be wrong about that. What's stupid is where I live, my time switches back and forth. The country does its thing, and my state's just static. So sometimes I get confused. But yeah, so I'll be doing that, and I'll be live streaming it. And I will also make effort to make sure we can live stream the next one, so you can see our face, us talking. And I think that was good, Kenton, when you said this. It just makes it more personable, and it's easier to figure out, speaking cadences and seeing mannerisms and all that stuff. So good idea. Okay, guys, if there's nothing else, we're going to wrap it here. Thank you, everyone, for coming up and your questions and everything like that. If you have any questions, please tag me later. I'll do my best to get to them. Otherwise, I hope everyone has a wonderful Saturday or Sunday, depending on where you are. Pragmatic Monkey, Slam Bammer with the Coke, and the legendary Kenton. Thank you for coming back, buddy.
Thank you, Patriot. Thanks for being a great host.
All right, guys. Have a good one. Ciao.
Bye.
Cheers all.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.